Hi, it's Halloween-ish, sort of close, and you might not know, I've mentioned it a lot, that I watch a lot of anime, sadly, now, and there's not that many scary kind of shows. Like, a lot of people go, oh man, oh, you gotta watch Death Note. Well, fuck you. Death Note isn't scary. Death Note is a good show, but it's not scary by any means, not even close. And there's not a lot of shows that are. Um, but I'm going to show two. One is very well known, and the other one is still, I think, well known, I think. And if it's not, and you've seen the one, or hell, if you haven't seen any of these, I think you should watch them for Halloween. Uh, Now, the first one, basically, these are like spiritual, like the second one is like a spiritual successor to the first one. So if you've seen the first one, which I'm assuming you have if you're a huge anime fan, if you're not, then I still think you should watch it. But these are more psychological horror. There's not many, like, bah, fucking shows. It's all the ones that I think are more creepy. Uh, are psychological, experimental. Which brings me to this show, Serial Experiments Lain. This show has three releases now. Actually, the third release is coming out very soon. So this is interesting. If you want to get the show now and not have to spend over $100 to get it, I was lucky. Not explaining how I got mine, but I was quite lucky when I got mine. But it's because I have one of the discs is a different release. Actually, two of them are, I think, a different release, and one I had to print a cover out for. But so Serial Experiments Lain. This can be a pricey show. The newest release will be $60, but you can probably get it for like $40. It's about a girl named Lain. This show was made early 90s, I want to say. Maybe late 90s, but I think it's early 90s. A girl named Lain who gets a Navi, which in this is basically a computer. You gotta remember, this is when computers were still like, we had the internet, but we couldn't do much more like images. Gets a computer and goes onto the wire, which is, the internet. And she slowly finds out that, without spoiling too much, the Navi and the real world is connected in a very strange way. It's very psychological horror. I've heard if you watch the show backwards or not the correct order, like if you watch one from disc one and one from disc two, or sorry, one from disc four, like watching the really fucked up order. I heard it's really fucked up if you do it that way. I watched it straight through. I've only watched it once, but I think most people have heard of this. Now, this release this is kind of an issue. See, the reason why I'm not going watch Higurashi when they blah 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 cry, the show, it's because I don't own it, and it's because it's over $100 to own because Funimation lost the license. Geneon doesn't release anymore. I really want that show, but I'm not spending over $100 to get it. But this was released by Geneon, of course, company that's out of print. Also Pioneer, company that doesn't print anymore. And the first two you can get for about $5 to $10 a piece. But the last two here, I did the other way around, whatever, are like $30 to $40 a piece. But Funimation, I believe it's Funimation, I could be wrong, is re-releasing a Blu-ray DVD collection, and it probably is going to go around for maybe $40-50 when it's released, which is soon. The show is only 13 episodes, but it's recommended, and I know you're gonna watch it another way. I'm just saying there's other ways of doing it. This show just had a re-release also. And for fuck's sake, it is like identical to Lain, really. Identical in the sense of the animation's very similar. The experimental side of it is very similar. There's a part, when they introduce the episode title, like for example, the episode's first four are called Weird, Girls, Psych, and Religion. But he'd be like, what? Well, that's what they do. The funny thing is when you already saw it, this show does it when they do their commercial break. It goes Boogiepop Phantom. almost identical to the show, made by this, not the same, made at the same time period. This release is a strange one, by the way. This is a Right Stuff International Inc. release. When I first got it, I thought it was a bootleg because it looks like a bootleg, but it's not, and it's been re-released quite recently. But I'm not sure if the newest release has an English dub. That's the thing. This one does, but it's funny when you put it in the DVD player, PS3 or whatever. It automatically goes to the Japanese track, which is funny because I watched almost the whole first episode in Japanese, and then I realized I accidentally like hit the button, and then I heard Crispin Freeman talking. I'm like, what did I do? So it does have an English dub. 13, 12 episodes, whatever. Same amount as Lain. Basically, man, this show, Lain I could somewhat explain without spoiling. Just explain in general. This show has nothing to explain. One night there was a light, a giant light in the sky, and that day created. Try not to spoil things. Certain kids with powers, I guess you could say. I'm not. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. But each episode, you could almost watch by itself, but all the episodes connect. And there's one episode, I can't think of what it is, but it's a cop talking to another cop, and it's probably the best one in the entire show. But yeah, kids got these powers, and there's a person called Boogiepop, who's like this, basically the death, you could say, and she, is she. It's hard to explain it, but takes them, kills them, but like more like brings them over. It's very experimental. That's why it's very hard to explain, but it's worth a watch. And I mean, like, if you watch this show, right after watch Boogiepop Phantom, you literally feel like you're watching you'll feel like you're watching season 2. That's how. And there are probably people out there who are like, this guy's a fucking idiot. He's not know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying. That's my opinion. Both really good, but you got to give a bit of patience to Lain. I guess the first 4 episodes are quite slow. The last 4 are like, they seriously are. It's really fucked up, the last 4. And I know I'm never looking at the camera. The camera's up there, but I'm always looking down there. I talk about that every single time. But yes, I recommend both. This show you can get it for like, I'm in Canada. Prices are very different in Canada from the US. It's for some stupid reason. But this I got for like $20, under $20, because I got it used. You're like, how dare you get it used? But it's been released 3 times, I believe. And I got this one. The weird thing is, I haven't checked this out yet. There's a CD. And I put it in my PS3. There's 2 tracks. One's a minute, and it's of this one whistling song, which you will hear in the show. And the other one is, it kind of sounds like a compilation of a few of the songs. It's like 8-minute track, right? But there's only 2 tracks, and they're like 10 minutes equal. So I don't know if there's something on this disc that, like, if I put in the computer, I'll find something. I haven't checked, so I'll probably be doing that soon. But this disc says it was printed in 2000. So both quite old shows, both fucked up. Now I'm gonna should end the video soon, but there's a few other shows you can watch. I think the most Halloween-ish show that's out there, not scary, just Halloween-ish, would be Soul Eater. I think a lot of people have heard of Soul Eater, seen Soul Eater. If you haven't seen Soul Eater, watch Soul Eater. I'm going to buy Soul Eater eventually. But there's, I want to say, 3 releases. There is Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4 release. Then they've done a Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4 release. And then in November, my fucking Christ, why do you gotta do it in November? You do it this month. Do it. You should have done it October 1st. Funimation. I don't know. I think it's Funimation's releasing it. You should have done it October 1st, because then you would have people buy it for Halloween and watch it on Halloween. November 20th is when they're releasing it. Complete collection. On Amazon, it's listed for $40, but that's Amazon's price. Usually other sellers will list it for another $5 less. So, and it's a 50-something episode show. So I'm quite excited for that personally. That's one. Eventually I'm gonna actually show you all my anime. I don't have a lot. Like I have a lot, but not a lot. It's there. That whole shelf right over there is full, and that shelf is as big as that poster in the background here. So it's quite a big shelf and it's full. But like there's shows up here which you could put under that category, but not really. But I'm trying to figure out some good horror ones. Like I know there's a show called Ghost Hunt. Haven't seen it, so I can't talk about it. And there's other shows I've heard are freaky. Show that if you want to watch. Alright, this video's gonna go on forever. Watch Hellgirl. That is like Halloween. Well, not Halloween. Just it's freaky. Okay, imagine Death Note, but freaky. To explain it, there's a website. You go on the website, and no, this is the actual show I'm talking about. You go on the website at midnight. You write who you want to be killed. Could be anyone. You write in. Hellgirl will visit you later that night, or maybe just later, and will give you this doll thing that has a string around its neck. You pull the string, the person will get sent to hell. But your soul will be sent to hell when you die for eternity. So basically, you get fucking stabbed and murdered for like eternity in hell. But there's some interesting things. Like basically, the show is each episode basically can watch by itself until a certain point, like near the end of the show, they actually start doing a story. I've only seen season 1 because season 2, season 3 was released by Sentai. Sentai did not dub it, and they also want $50 a pop. Funimation, you can get it right now on Amazon right now. The first 24 episodes, which I totally recommend, for like under $20. There's a used copy right now. I'm thinking about buying it, but you might buy it for me. Under $20. And it's a really good show, and it's a save edition. If you don't like save edition, oh well. But save edition, I've talked about it. You can just flip the cover, and there's usually another cover. That show, I recommend, Hellgirl. There's 3 seasons, but season 1 can be got very cheaply. I'm just trying to look. I think, there's other shows here and there, but that's all I'll talk about now, I guess. So comment, rate, subscribe. I want actually, if you're watching this, and I don't know you, comment about horrors and don't write things like, I think, I'm trying to think, what's a show that some people might find scary but isn't at all? I don't know. I think Naruto's the most terrifying show ever, which I do. Lucky Star isn't terrifying, is it?